Oh my goodness. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are in the world listening to this, oh my God, enlightening call. Enlightening call. Debrah Goetz was a guest for the first time on the Ordinary show. What was it, 6 months ago? Time is something like that. And she just knocked it out of the park. And she's been so busy and being called to other shows, and her message is spreading like our consciousness in pervasive, expansive ways, because it's just time that we hear truth spoken in a way that we can receive it, that we can embody it, and that we're empowered with it as well, not just for the sake of knowing it, but how do we carry and bring it forward. And so Debrah brings that and so much more into the transmission of her energy, who she carries herself to be, her direct intuition and guidance, and just the way that she is as a human being. And for me, that is first and foremost the most important thing for me. And I hope it is for you as well. And we'll dive into her other gifts, of course, because that's what we do on Beyond the Ordinary. But I hope you guys sit back and enjoy today's transmission. And there'll be an opportunity to ask Debrah your personal question a little bit later during the call, but we're going to get into the 12 pillars of self-healing mastery. And make no mistake about it, it is mastery. It's nothing less, and we're inviting you to it. So it's time to step up, sit back, listen, enjoy, and become. And with that, let me tell you a little bit more about Debrah. So Debrah Goetz is a globally celebrated medical intuitive and a multidimensional healer. As an energetic conduit for the divine, Deb is also a medium, spiritual counselor, and ascension teacher. After her spiritual awakening in 1987, Deb began practicing an ancient Japanese healing modality. Since then, her guides assisted in reawakening within her powerful latent healing techniques, including Deb's proprietary quantum acupuncture and galactic chiropractic modalities. And Deb, with that, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for being such a huge hit the first time you were on. And before you say hello, what was that ancient Japanese modality? I'm so curious.
It was Reiki.
Reiki. Wow. Wow. Or Reiki on a whole nother level, I can imagine.
Yeah, it started out very basic and then grew into, well, what it is today. So of course, we couldn't even call it Reiki right now. But that's how I got my start way back in the early 90s.
So what is it today for you?
What is my healing modality?
Yeah, you said it developed into what it is today. Well, so what is it today?
Well, it's just about anything that a client needs, but basically one would call it medical intuition, right? So I can see and feel. And by the way, I asked for this very, very long time ago. I don't know if you and I have ever talked about my story, but years and years ago, I read an ancient text where the masters said, the things that we do, you shall also do. And I got so excited when I read that. It's like, I want that. I want to love people like you did. And I want to heal people like you did. And it wasn't until 2014 when I was home alone one night reading a book, and I felt this impulse to pray for a friend who was out of town. And so I put my book down and started praying for their safe trip home and things like that. And all of a sudden I saw 3 vertebrae in the middle of their back, kind of out of alignment with a bulging disc. And I thought, well, I guess I'll just put them back into alignment. And all of a sudden, over in the corner, we had vaulted ceilings, this 10-foot golden angel appears. I saw her in my mind's eye, and I felt her presence so strongly. And she came over slowly and embodied me. And together, we fixed my friend's spine, and today their spine is perfectly healthy. So that was my first medical intuition experience, and it was remote. You know, most of the time, you know, I was so used to doing in-person sessions or sending Reiki energy or whatever. And so this was when it all began. And so I started with the spine. I would call my friends and say, hey, you have back problems, come on over, I want to practice. And the more I practiced, the more I saw good results. And then the spine developed into the hips, then the entire skeletal system. And pretty soon headaches were disappearing. And then I was shown the endocrine system and the cerebral spinal fluid and where all the organs and glands were and what causes what. And then, so now it's really diving deep into the entire physicality. But John, what's more important than that is at the bottom of every illness, pain, and disease is an emotional component. 100% of the time, I find that. Our bodies are our consciousness in form. So medical intuition for me is not just being able to identify something. I told the guides, I don't want to just know what it is. I want to be able to fix it. So come on, let's do it. Yeah. So I guess we could label it medical intuition, but it's really spiritual counseling. It's ancestral healing. It's everything holistic to bring us into the vitality that we were meant to live as masters on this earth.
That's so beautiful. And your intentionality is really graceful in your request for the information. Because so many of us, again, it's like, I want to be psychic. I want to be able to channel. I want to be able to communicate my guides. But why? And you get into the why. So going into the depth, really, again, expanding on intimacy and finding why you want to be in a relationship other than just to say that you can or to have an experience that then what do you do with it?
Right.
And so the clarity of your questioning and of your requests really brought forward a very powerful gift that so many people are benefiting from right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to just know. I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it big and we're going to do it right and we're going to love. And we're going to talk later about the miracle working molecule. That's something that just we've always worked through compassion and love. Because nothing else can exist in a strong presence of love. About 6-9 months ago, the guide started labeling the miracle working molecule, and it's compassion, because that's what it takes. I work with so many clients who have never really been heard.
Yeah.
And they're hurting. And it's painful to live in a place where you don't feel safe emotionally or physically. Many of my clients don't feel safe being in the world. Or much less able to express themselves as themselves, right? Or move into mastery.
Right.
So we dig deep into all that, finding origin, cause, and effect, right?
Yeah, it was really profound for me. Quite a few months ago, there was a process that I was taught a long time ago that I work with that really works to re-imprint the neurons, re-imprint our limiting beliefs through the chemistry in our brain. And it was powerful. And they're very short, quick. You can call them affirmation statements, but they're so much more direct than that. And they work so beautifully with the neural pathways. But after so many years of doing it, I got to the place like there's a missing piece of it. There's a missing piece that's not allowing it to connect fully, even though so much was shifting in different ways. And it was the safety part. It's safe to be worthy. It's safe to be a success. It's safe to be loved for all that I am. And that hit me at such a core level that things began unfolding. And I understood the alchemy of the rest of the process once I was able to hit on the core of what was holding back those neurotransmitters to really fire in a way that they had the capacity to.
Wow, so interesting. How beautiful too that you hooked up to that safety, feeling safe, because our psyches can't heal and our physical bodies can't heal when there's no joy in there, when you're holding a barrier or not being able to even express yourself as yourself. So we're going to talk a little bit more later too on joy and what that actually does within the body. Because when, like I said before, our bodies are our consciousness in form. So when we're depressed, oppressed, they can't function as they should. But when we're filled with joy, the cells also, they read that, they know that, and then they're going to wake up and be joyful and be able to function and heal.
Amazing what comes through.
No
So
secret.
Part of what you are bringing through for us right now is really unearthing these tools that promote acceptance and worthiness. And how do we get into it? Again, there's different modalities. I certainly had one that helped me, again, with the re-imprinting of the neural pathways. But it goes so much more deeper than that, because the sense of worthiness, the sense of acceptance, we may glimpse it from time to time, but there's so many things that we potentially get exposed to that sends to diminish our capacity to hold it on a continuous basis.
Yeah, sad as that is. Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up that acceptance, because I don't know if we talked about it the last time I was on, but there's this technique that the guides brought through called the AAL technique.
Tell us about it again. If we did, I don't remember it, and I want to get back into it. Yes.
Yeah, it's on my website, I believe, and it's included in some of well, I think it's included in package B in the course. But AAL stands for acknowledgement, acceptance, and love. Our bodies want what we want, and that's acknowledgement, to be heard, to really be heard. So acknowledge and then accept what you hear. And this is a process that we actually do with our own bodies. Listen to that inner child, listen to the gut, what it's saying to you. So we acknowledge it, acceptance, and then just love it. And it's like the miracle working molecule. Again, in that presence, nothing else can exist. And that brings the healing.
That's beautiful. So let me ask you this. So you're medical into multi-sensory, you're psychic, you can like tap in so many different ways. And it's such a gift. And I've had a personal session with you, which was quite profound for me. And so many people from last season had personal sessions with you, which we still get rave reviews about. And this particular appearance, it's not about private sessions. It's about bringing in tools and self-application techniques so that people can actually do this for themselves. Why did you change it? Why such a shift from the one-on-one into, no, I've got to bring this out in a bigger way?
Number one, there's power in numbers. Now, in the beginning, when the guide said, okay, it's time to do some group healing sessions, it's like, I've never done one. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how it's going to work. And then my first one that I did was, 6-9 months ago. And the energy in those groups is miraculous things happen. Because if you think about it, our minds are so powerful, John. And when we're all intending the same things, not only for our, we're going to be intending for our own physicality in these group healing sessions, but with that energy multiplied by 30, 50, 100 people, it's amazing what happens. I'll hear the guys saying, oh, somebody's knee is getting healed right now, or someone's hearing is being healed right now. It's mind-blowing. So that's why I chose this time to create an entire month of healing where we start working with the energy body. Then we go into the meridians, and then we go into the physical body, and then we go into the gut and the brain and the endocrine system. And I cannot wait to see what happens after this and that entire month, which is, by the way, we'll talk about package 8 later, right?
We'll talk about the packages in a little bit for sure. I want to go deep into that. I know we're going to get into the 12 pillars of the self-healing mastery and going in, but I also want to talk about, and again, it's one of your bullet points, and this is so key for me. And it's about excavating and transmuting the ancient relics that keep us playing small. And this spoke to me so loudly because a couple of weeks ago, I was in deep process. I was in the dark room retreat where I immersed myself in darkness for it was actually 6 days. And things kept coming through, and my brain was working, and my body was adjusting to the little thoughts that keep my nervous system running in a sympathetic capacity rather than the parasympathetic. And at the end of the journey in there, all I kept hearing is, wake up. It's time to wake up. Wake up. Wake up. And it's that part that I felt that's been keeping things small, not realizing how big everything truly is. Always has been, but really is pervasively so right now.
And how big you truly are.
Mm. Right. So how do we excavate that? How do we transmute those parts of us that want to keep compressed and tight and feeling falsely safe?
Mm-hmm. It's, well, pretty much what you did, only there's a shortened version of that, is what the guides call powering down the generators. They suggest and often prescribe for people that they shut everything down, everything in the house, the phones, the computers, the anything that's a distraction, and just be and feel who you are, feel what's inside of you. And if it takes a day, make sure that this day that you pick is one where you don't have to answer work emails or something like that, or take care of the kids or something like that. We want to, and by the way, I did this. I thought, if I'm going to be prescribing to other people to shut down the generators for a day, I'm going to have to do that. And I did. And for the first 2 hours, I walked in circles around my house, inside my house.
I walked in circle for 3 days. What are you talking about?
It's like, I didn't know what to do. So I said, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to walk around in circles, because we're so used to working or communicating with others or creating things. And so the first thing I did was went for a walk, and it was really difficult to come back in and keep everything shut off. But then when I did, it took a couple hours. I just went inside and I felt things I didn't feel before. And things came up for me, like you heard, wake up.
Yeah.
And my guess is that if we try this experiment, we're all going to hear that. Who are you? Who is this inside of you that is saying, wake up?
Yeah.
So that's the start of the excavation. And while doing that, we're going to feel all of our pain, but it takes courage to do this too, to say, yeah, okay, I've been shut down for so long, I don't even know where to start, but shutting down the generators is a good place. And then if your heart hurts, maybe you cry for a whole day.
Yeah.
Whatever we need. And then do whatever you hear that comes up, accept it, acknowledge it, and love it. And you wouldn't believe how quickly some of these things just break off and you can move through it. I mean, the energies are moving so much faster now than if when we were, waking up, 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's like things are healing faster. We're waking up faster. And so it's really not that hard of a process to go through if we are courageous enough.
Well, it's uncomfortable. And I'm speaking from firsthand experience, and I've gone through different iterations of it. But being in this dark room place where I really had nowhere to go and nothing to do, and I was pretty much sequestered in that space, the anxiety that was running through, the mind chatter, and the just being there and going, all right, here I am. It's got to run through me because I've got nowhere else to be.
Exactly.
I could have escaped. I could have gotten busy doing other things, but no, I with very much intention decided to put myself in there, knowing that things were going to rise, that there was going to be a recalibration happening, as Sherry wrote, moment to moment, that the brain chemistry is going to adjust also as we release more melatonin, as our HGH levels increase to get in sync with our endocrine system and with our hormonal system. As all that starts to adjust, there's going to be a shaking up of our normal, because the normal isn't supporting the longevity of the ascension. It's actually deteriorating it. And so it's time to look at, the pipes that are running the water of our energy, and to upgrade, to really make sure that it's in alignment so that we can flow in ways that we're truly capable of.
Absolutely. And what a great prescription. What a great thing to put yourself through, right? Because
oh my God, yeah.
we when we're in the thick of it, we can't see the gift on the other side, right? But that's That's the goal, is to hear that voice that says, wake up, and to remember that we are those multi-dimensional beings of light, simply having human experiences. Right?
Mm.
That's the end goal. So, and that really relieves a lot of that pressure that we feel to in the wake up, in the ascension process, when we've realized that, the truth really is that I'm just a multidimensional being of light. I'm a piece of God, simply here having a human experience just to see what it feels like, right? And then
Yeah.
that really lifts things and helps us feel lighter in the process.
Really is. Something that you go deeper into as well. And again, I'm relating it to the experiences that I've had over the last several months as well. As so many things have seemed to be rolling so beautifully, different opportunities, feeling more within myself. Life's looking pretty good, but there's still a sense of emptiness or a sense of loss, a sense of something not being right and not quite knowing what that is. And for me, and you wrote about this in the bullet points again, so I'm like, yes, God, you have your finger on the pulse. We're dealing with loss, even though things seem to be perhaps moving forward or clearing out or recalibrating or whatever we want to call it. There's still that something in the pit of our being that's like in the mourning zone.
What a beautiful place to be.
Well, yeah, and no. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful place to be, but feeling it
Mhm.
and going through how uncomfortable it is. How do you guide your clients and people that work with you through that initiation? Because it truly is an initiation.
Mhm. That it is. The AAL technique, just love them through it, letting them
Mm,
know that it's not permanent. It won't be this way forever. And the guides usually come through with just beautiful messages for them, letting them know their innocence and their purity. And that the
mm,
divine, when it gazes upon them, all it sees is their innocence.
yeah.
Yeah. And that brings such relief too. It's like, oh, okay. So even if I'm feeling empty right now, the truth is I'm known, I'm seen, I'm
Mm,
heard still in that emptiness.
mm, no. So, how did you come up with these 12 pillars of self healing mastery? How did that come to be?
When I was writing the whole course on self mastery for the new earth, I just downloaded, okay, there needs to be 7 modules, and this is what they're going to be. And self healing is going to be the biggest one. And it was. The recording is almost an hour, and it goes in depth into, how do we go about this? How do we release the emotions that are stuck in our cells, that are residing in our livers and our psyches and our amygdala, that fight, flight, freeze part of the brain. And
Mm,
because I had to go through such a deep self-healing myself, that's why this is the biggest chapter.
ah,
Because
okay.
I tell part of my own story, my journey. None of us grew up in perfect homes, much less, mine wasn't
Mm,
either. So there's just a lot of healing, ancestral healing to go through. So yeah, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, and it's my favorite module in the course as well.
well, and again, we'll get into the course in a little bit, which would be wonderful because there's so much just by even listening what's in the course, the paradigm of what's available and becoming aware, that immediately starts creating healing. It's like, wait, that's possible. Wait, that exists. Wait, that's there. It's like, hold on, my whole life is changing just because I'm aware the color blue exists. My whole life just changed. And it really is that simple sometimes. I didn't know that existed or that was possible. And by illuminating that and then watching someone else or witnessing someone else in the embodiment and the practice and the living of that opens up doorways that we never had access to before.
Absolutely.
So it's just incredible what runs through. Before we get into the package and before we get into Q&A, because I definitely want to open up Q&A here pretty soon because there's so many people already with their hand raised. I want to talk about the miracle working molecule. Tell us more about that, because you've mentioned it a few times.
Right. Yeah. And it basically is something quite simple, but it is that compassion. My guides are all about compassion. They're consistent in telling others, telling clients of their beauty, their innocence, their that they're seen, known, and heard. And again, nothing can exist in the presence of love, in the presence of compassion. Think about it. It's almost like being in a dark room and someone turns on a flashlight, and then the light goes bigger and bigger and bigger and illuminates the entire room. There's no more darkness. It's the same thing with this emotion, with this love, with this compassion. And so, like I said before, about 6-9 months ago, they said, we're just going to call this the miracle working molecule because it is. Because it is. Because it is. And I see so many things shifting in sessions with clients because of that. Because they're hearing the truth. And we record those sessions and send them to them and ask them, the guys say, listen to this again and again, because it's a process of retraining the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind can be a little slow sometimes, and it needs to hear and hear and hear the truth before it really gets and sinks down in. And that's what those recordings are filled with: truth, the miracle working molecule.
I love it. Love it. Yes, there are sirens in the background, y'all. You can hear them down the road from here, and I'm like a mile away from the road, but they're loud. So if anybody's hearing that, you get to benefit from the sirens in the background. What are they calling you to? Debrah, it's really interesting for me because it is extremely rare for me to bring on a medical intuitive onto the show. Extremely rare, because there's a lot of hope that can be conjured in an instantaneous healing or the promise of it. And then there's a way that it can be translated into a tool for self-empowerment rather than being the victim of somebody else's energy, being able to align for you something that they believe is wrong with you. And I carry a big responsibility for this community, not to just bring someone on that says that they have that capacity, because I don't see it work very often in a way that it's purported, at least in the people that I've been exposed to. And I've had even potential speakers that wanted to come on the show that kept insisting that they healed something in my lower back or did something. And it's like, but no, I'm not feeling it. Well, there must be something wrong with you. And like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. It's like, you're just not carrying the energy, or there's something else running that's not being a conductor for what's being promised or intended. So that it's a big deal for me to invite someone that has medical intuitive in their resume or in their bio for me. And for me, that just speaks volumes for the way in which you carry the energy, the way that you see it, your capacity to see someone as whole rather than broken, and then the modalities that are available, so that not that you can heal someone else, but that you can teach other people how to identify, have compassion for self, have the ability to see or feel or psychically even sense for themselves what's coming through, and have that be the pathway for the illumination of consciousness that's truly unfolding. So I wanted to bring that, and I wanted to share that with everybody in the audience, that to have Debrah here in this capacity, it's a big deal for me, and speaks volumes of
Wow, John,
of my experience. So thank you.
That's so humbling for me. You're
Well,
gonna bring me to tears. It's so beautiful that.
But I'm sure you see it all the time, though. I'm sure you've experienced it through people who were well-intended. I'm not saying anybody's selling snake oil, even though some people are, but I'm not even connecting with those. But really, I'm sure you see it, again, with great intention, but it just doesn't land for some reason. Why do you think it doesn't land?
part of it may be ego.
Yeah.
Another part of it is just that they haven't gone deep enough, or maybe they haven't practiced long enough, or they don't understand the mechanics of our holistic selves, the body, mind, spirit connection. Because I think I said this on the last show, we can go in there and manipulate anybody's spine, or we can go in there and remove energy from someone's liver or an organ that's distressed. But if we don't get down deep into the layers of the emotion, the origin and cause and effect of it, it's just going to come right back. And it does. So yeah, to answer your question, I have seen and know some others who call themselves medical intuitives, and they might be able to identify something, and maybe they're correct, but to actually heal it through that love and that compassion. I mean, that's why I just love my guides so much, because they are rock stars. The love that comes through sometimes, it can bring you to tears. And the things that they perform and the things that they say are just so loving. It just melts us. So again, John, thank you so much for the opportunity, for placing your trust in me, and for giving me the original opportunity back in February, because again, so many doors have been opened for me because of you.
Well, because of us, because we've decided to come together. Yes.
Right. But you listened to your guidance on, should this one be on the show? Shouldn't this one be on the show? And I so appreciate your listening to that.
I have to. I have no choice. It's just, it has to be authentic, because I'm not on here to sell packages. I'm on here to share what's helping me. And in that, the reciprocation that comes through is just abundance for everybody across the board, and how wonderful. So it's funny. It's when I started the show 9 years ago, the gauge was, how many packages did you sell? How did the speaker do? How many people showed up? And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. It'll sell. The people will show up. It'll happen. If it's not supposed to happen, it won't. If it is, it is. And then I'm just going to follow just what feels right. And in that, like, I'd have people after 3 seasons, how you doing halfway through the season? I don't know. I don't know. I'm having fun. My poor assistant, I'm driving her crazy. April, thank you so much. But other than driving her mad and the team mad because of the way that I want to create, it just reveals itself over time. It's not I like calling it's not a one-night stand. It's not like, what did happen tonight? And, and that's it. It's, what relationships are we building? What authenticity are we in? What is it really that we're doing together, rather than fragmenting off? And I feel that that's the way that you work with people also. What is it that we're doing together? What is it that we're bringing into wholeness? And what's the longevity of this, rather than let's stop your cough right now? What's the underlying thing that's causing that, so that we can have that evolve through your consciousness, so that you have more access to the truth of who you are.
Exactly, because that's what it's all about.
Right.
Those of us who were on these shows, I used to elevate these people who were on the shows, and I thought, boy, if I could just be on one of these shows someday, that would be the real big thing. And right now for me, it is. It's wonderful, and I thank you for your humility and your heart in this. But the bottom line is, what are we doing here?
Right.
We on these shows, we don't have it all together. We don't claim to.
No.
We're right here with everybody else. We're just bringing people together. We're all about unity and raising consciousness and waking up to those inner masters. Wake up, like you heard, right? That's what this is all about. And so we just want to help. We want to be the conduits of the energy for the ascension process, for waking up to the masters that we are. Thanks for the platform.
Yeah, thank you for allowing the platform to keep living, and calls like this, which is wonderful. I want to get into Q&A and into the special offer. I think Q&A first, but I also want to let everyone know that Deb has offered to lead us through and perform a short ancestral healing ceremony during today's call, and I want to leave that towards the end. I want to breathe into it. I really want to get into space where our mind's not going in 5 different directions, because there's going to be a lot of energy coming in when we go through the special offer, when we take questions. And so everybody just sit back, relax, and you're going to want to hang out for this ceremony. I can't wait to do it. It's like I want to do it now, but we're going to wait. But the first thing I want to do, Deb, if you don't mind, let's start getting into some Q&A. And if you guys will excuse me for a second, my thumb on the screen, and I need to figure out how to get participants on live. So I'm going to fumble through here just a little bit so that we can get people with their hands up promoted as panelists. And here we go. We'll start promoting y'all. And the second you start popping up, we'll start calling on some of you so that we can get in as many calls as possible. Okay, let's see. Here's some of you guys should be popping up here pretty soon. And then I'll get into some more. So again, excuse my hands as I go on here. Ashley, you're coming in for me first. So if you could unmute yourself and maybe even turn on your video, that would be wonderful. And welcome to the call, Ashley.
Thank you. I actually do have my video on. I'm not too sure.
It's on. I see you. You're awesome. Yay. No worries.
Okay. So thanks, John, for choosing me at this time. And Deborah, it's so great to see you again. I had a session with you in March.
Hi, Ashley. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's interesting. Sometimes I don't know if I'm the person that's digging up the relics, or I'm the relic. So I love this conversation about the excavation. Yeah, I'm thinking, this is just right on right now. So thank you. So I've got some interesting things going on in my body right now, and I wonder too if it isn't a part of a lot of the frequencies. But I did have an accident in April. I was hit by a truck at a red light and in my car. And so I've been recuperating from that. And I'm just having some very strange things going on with my nervous system and some other things. I've got a wonderful team of healers, and I'm so grateful for them. But I'm just wondering if there's anything you can guide me toward as to what you might be picking up.
Sure. Tell me a little bit more about the symptoms of that nervous system that you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm feeling, I've been having some headaches. Now, we also have our province to our right in BC is actually on fire. So we've had a lot of smoke, a lot of high heat and everything else. But I've been having lots of facial feelings, headaches, feeling a little bit shaky at times, prickly, that kind of thing. So I've been on homeopathics and acupuncture and all those beautiful, beautiful modalities. But I'm just wondering if there's something beneath that that I'm missing out on.
Have you dealt with the trauma of the accident? I'm picking it up in the middle of your spine. There's a pressure that they're giving me. Yeah, I can feel the shakiness.
Yeah, and thank you for that. My business is a holistic psychotherapist, so my thing is working at the emotional level. So I've been working on myself, but sometimes we get a little bit blinded to some of the deeper situation because we're in it, But yeah, it was probably my mid back behind my heart that was hit the hardest with my seat, and so that's where I've been really kind of struggling. Because I'm very athletic, and it's just trying to get back into everything.
We're going to do a little bit of a soul retrieval for you because, when we get frightened, we go, right? Yeah. Our energies shift, move. Yes. They say they can be fragmented and left places.
Yes.
I don't care how we label it, but that's what we need to do for you right now is to gather back that piece, that fragment of yourself that was frightened. We're going to do that by speaking to the amygdala and anybody else who, by the way, is locked in a fear or had some sort of physical or emotional trauma. Hang with us here. So we're going to go into the amygdala, that fight, flight, freeze part of the brain, and the subconscious mind, which resides within the body. We're just going to go all the way down the spine and just soothe it, letting the body know, reminding the body that what occurred in the past does not equal the present nor the future. And in this moment, you're safe. There's safety here. You've done nothing wrong. Now, what occurred in the past doesn't equal the now. And in this moment, there's safety. There we go. Whew. Ooh, that was really powerful. And so as I was doing that, the guide showed me that fragmented piece, that frightened piece, came back in, felt at home again, relaxed. And that whole nervous system, I felt the energy just warm as it went down. How are you feeling? How did that affect you?
I feel like I'm on fire. That was very warming. Thank you. Very, very emotional. You know, I work for myself and I live alone. And, you know, it is sort of, I've got lots of beautiful family and friends, but it is that feeling like you're alone and, you know, people coming out of COVID, not wanting to bother, you know, a lot of people that are just trying to unblind themselves. So, but the shock was still in my physical body. I could feel it as well. And the fellow wasn't insured. And so a lot of stuff going on, you know, beside it. But that was just so beautiful, Deborah. I don't want to take time away from anyone else, but I'm just so grateful for that and for you. And I look forward to hearing about your next package.
Thank you so much, Ashley. God bless you.
Thank you. And thank you, John, so much. Blessings to you both.
You're welcome, Ashley. And Ashley and everybody on this call, and I'm glad you brought it up, Ashley, because I have to chime in. You're not bothering anybody by reaching out for help. And you get to be a priority. I'm getting the chills as I'm speaking about this.
Me too.
For you, Ashley, and for everybody else on the call. Yes, a lot of people are experiencing different things that perhaps are challenging, but perhaps it's in our unification rather than our separation that we wind up healing together, instead of giving so much space that the intimacy gets lost in the process. And it's the lack of intimacy that's causing the separation, that's causing us to feel fragmented, that's causing us to feel alone, that's causing us to feel like we don't have solutions, even though we have the solutions inside of us because we're practitioners.
Right.
But we're not supposed to heal ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
We don't. That's why we have relationships.
Yeah.
Because we get to relate to one another. That's why we have these calls. So I invite you and everyone else on this call to open up to receiving, which is one of the most damn difficult things that we can do as healers.
True.
And so blessings to you. Yes.
To you both and to you all. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Oh my God. It's just, it's, I hear things like this and it breaks my heart, and I know it well because I do it also. So the reminders are just amazing. Deb, one of the things that we spoke about, and again, we said we were going to talk about this a little bit on the call, is that aspect of fear. What that does in our body, but also what it's calling us towards. And I'd love it if you could elaborate on that a little bit. And I know it's part of the modules in the special offer as well, and in a different way.
Sure. Well, fear, whether it's in your face, like very large, looming largely within you, or a minor, what you might consider a minor fear, just running beneath the surface. If we truly are our consciousness in form, what does this fear do to the body? What does that restriction do, not only to our psyches, but to our physical body, to our cells, to our DNA, right? If something is restricted or depressed, which, by the way, depression is anger turned inward, so part of that is involved in the fear as well. But so to answer your question about where is this leading us, that's quite an amazing question, because isn't everything in life to lead us to one final place? Everything we're experiencing, our emotions, our circumstances, our relationships, ourselves, our illnesses, our joy, everything is leading us to the knowledge that we are pieces of God, that we're perfect, whole, complete, we're blameless, right? So what can you do about the fear? The AAL technique, the acknowledgement, acceptance, and love. So we do it on the physical body. So if you have, let's say, chest pain, put your hands on your chest. Right now, you can do, anybody can put their hand anywhere where they're feeling pain or distress in their body. Just tell it, I see you. I do. I see that you're scared. This is not easy. I get it. It's not fun. It's not easy. Sometimes it's terrifying, but I hear you. And whatever you feel is okay with me because we got this together. And then you can just feel, like right now, even just saying it, I can feel the chills running down my body, that somebody just lost a lot of fear. Somebody just drained, maybe all of you. There was fear just draining out of your body. This is what we need. This is what our bodies need. And then if it comes back, do it again and do it again until it gets it, until it hears that you're with it, that it's not alone. And whatever that trauma was, or whatever that fear is, the fear of getting sick, the fear of being yourself, the fear of self-expression, can all just be managed through listening to it, letting it know it's okay. It didn't do anything wrong. It's blameless. And there's love here for it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And again, I love the stillness part, the taking the day to be with what is. And again, I immerse myself again in a very deep container. And what ran through was a lot of the fear. And I had to be with it. And I had compassion with it. And I had no choice but to allow it, not allow it, but to feel it run through the entirety of my being, because there's no escaping from it.
And then did it dissipate? What happened?
Well, once you attune to it, it doesn't run the show anymore. It's like, oh, that's what that was. Okay, I recognize it. I'm not trying to cut it off short. I'm not trying to make it something, chase it away, use a technique to bury it even deeper, because it's not going anywhere if I bury it deeper. It's just buried. And it's going to keep reverberating in our etheric field until we have relationship with it. And it's not trying to harm us. It's actually trying to protect us. But we've been taught that it's harm.
Because it's unpleasant.
Because it's unpleasant, right? And so by having the courage and the compassion and the love and having community and relationship with others, this isn't a solo journey.
Right.
By having this type of community, like you're about to lead everybody through these offers, by having that, the strength in numbers and power and remembering, and the ability to empathize and have compassion for ourselves and for one another, talk about alchemy that transmutes that fear into remembrance, into greater love. It's amazing. It's amazing. I want to take more callers. We're definitely going to get into the ancestral healing. We've got plenty of time, as long as you do, Deb.
Yes.
But I want to take quite a few minutes, and go into the special offers, because it's so powerful. It really is. It's really a game changer for so many of y'all that I encourage. I hope that you dive into it. So where April has done in the chat box on the Zoom call, April has typed in the link for the special offer. There's a package A and a package B. The one link takes you to both. Or if you can't find the link for whatever reason, just type in your web browser beyondtheordinaryshow.com / let me see how April put this, Debrah, DEBRAH 25. So beyondtheordinaryshow.com / Debrah 25, or click in the chat box, you'll see the link, and it'll take you to that special offer page. And Deb, if you would, guide us through what people are going to receive when they participate with you.
All right. Well, package A, I was led by the guides to do, as I mentioned earlier, group healings, because the power in numbers, the energy that it provides all of you, all of us, is beautiful and amazing. So they suggested that we start out with clearing the auric field. So we'll do the trace mineral booster shot, but the purpose is to clean the aura of thought forms, negative patterning, and attachments, and to flush and invigorate the lymph system, boosting that immune system. So we'll work with the spleen as well. And with the pillar of light activation then, so once the auric field is all cleared, we'll introduce the pillar of light, which is a beautiful crystal cylinder filled with angelic light, beautiful white iridescent light from the higher dimensions. We go way high up into the dimensions and bring down that energy down through the body, encompassing all of the chakras, because the chakras are not just individual, just like our cells are not individuals, islands within themselves. They're part of the body. So the chakras are also part of this pillar of light, our central core, right? And then we take that crystalline pillar and take it all the way down through the crust of the earth and connect with Mother Earth. So now you're connected with the higher frequencies and also earth energy. So that will be the very first healing session on September 2nd. Then the next week, we activate all the meridians in the body, so we can really get the energy moving to prepare for the next two energy healing sessions, the group sessions. So the quantum acupuncturist, Master So Wong Tzu, comes in, and he's a master that came in, well, maybe 9 months ago or so in my work, and I had never seen him before, but he started performing acupuncture on my client, and so now I am offering that to you, to the group. And not only does he strategically place the needles, like I said, very strategically in the body, but he performs, he creates an herbal infusion. So I actually see him taking tiny little herbs out of cubbies and putting them in a mortar and pestle and crushing them and steeping them with water. And then he brings in an elixir with that, which he claims, and I believe, works on a very, very deep cellular level, all the way to the level of the DNA. So once we have this herbal infusion along with that elixir, he puts it into the body, and I can actually see it and feel it going into all systems to revitalize and rejuvenate your physicality. So those are the first two steps that now prepare us to go inside the physical body, and we start with galactic chiropractic. This is one of my favorite things to do, and as you might guess, it's an energetic chiropractic full skeletal adjustment from the toes all the way up the legs, through the hips, the spine, shoulders, the neck, and even the skull. We'll do a realign the skull. In fact, most of us don't know it, but our skulls can be off just a little bit. They're not sitting correctly on the atlas bone, so they straighten it out, right? The guides do. So along with that is included in that, sometimes the guides will, and quite often actually, the guides will come in with etheric crystals. I'll see a big, beautiful, pure emerald crystal in the shape of a diamond, and we'll embed that in joints, in knees, shoulders, wrists. And they also will do some stem cell injections. So it might seem a little odd. Well, how can you do a stem cell injection? But it's very, very real. And the needles are very, very tiny, and you won't feel them, but they'll do injections in joints, oftentimes up the spine. They'll also, if someone is suffering from like stenosis, which is a weakening of the spine, they'll run a stem cell cream down inside the spine. So this will be for everyone. They also have a stem cell cream that they'll put into a hip joint, right? Or they'll restructure cartilage in a joint in the knees, or the rotator cuff. So it's a complete skeletal redo. And then the final one is a digestive tract cleanse. So this will be the final piece of that month of healing. How many of us have got issues, indigestion, feeling uncomfortable after eating? Some of us have worse symptoms that actually have labels. But the guides show me a lot of it is that because if you think about it, our solar plexus is the second brain of the body. It's the emotional brain. Where does it sit? Right above the gut. So our emotions affect the gut. So we're going to get deep into the emotional release of the solar plexus and clear the gut. We'll run 3 fluids through in succession through the gut to it's a cleanse, followed by a fortification of the lining of the walls of the intestines. And then they'll run a tricolored fluid through that actually balances pH and fortifies the flora, the good and bad bacteria. And then we'll finish up with the endocrine system. So that's the full month of healing in September. It'll be amazing.
That's wonderful. So that's the first package, and that's $127. There's a 2-payment option on that, which is wonderful. But then we go into a spiritual mastery course, New Earth video course. Tell us more about that.
Well, this was a long time in making. The guys gave it to me probably 6-9 months before I actually had it all produced, because it's very, very in-depth. And what I included with these 7, there's actually 8 modules. One of them is an introduction. But what I included in them was a webinar that was pre-recorded with another audience, but it will serve everyone, because I didn't want people to just get a course and be left on their own, right? I always want support when I'm learning something and I want to ingest it deeply. So we start with a welcome webinar, telling you a little bit about what the course is all about. And then module 1 is about your divinity. So many of us are so confused about who God is and our relationship with it, as it, right? Because it'll help to unwind a lot of the old religious paradigm thoughts on who God is. And then the second one is the 7 steps to the Temple of Illumination. This will help to open the heart, because the Temple of Illumination is your heart. And it includes 10 specific ways to raise your vibration and reprogram that subconscious mind, which is vital. And then the third one is about prayer. You know, so many of us are confused about, well, is there really somebody up there listening to even what I request? Am I being heard? Well, this module is all about how to co-create and manifest with divinity and through divinity. The fourth one, as we talked about earlier, was the 12 pillars of self-healing. It's the longest, most vital one, the one that I truly enjoyed the most because of my own healing journey. And I'll tell I tell my story of my own abuse and how I healed from it. Now, included with a lot of these are special. Well, with each module, there's a worksheet, you might say, that you can print out and work along with the video as you listen and watch. And then there's usually, and many of them have meditation or activation that is specifically tailored to that particular module. And then right in the middle of the course, we have a webinar. So that's just to like an overview of the first 4 modules. And you'll hear people's questions and how I answered them. And this is all to boost and integrate and expand your experience of those first 4 modules. And in module 5, we meet the Ascended Masters, and there's a beautiful Akashic Records meditation that goes along with that. And then the Archangels. This one was really a super one, because the angel, as I was writing this module about the archangels, I was downloading these symbols. So I created these talismans, 8 of them, for all 7 of the major archangels, including Metatron. Wow. So they are light language, encoded symbols. So you can use them to be infused with the attributes of the particular angels, like Raphael, one of my favorite ones. I work with him every day. His name means God heals. So his light language symbol that's included in that part of the course is vibrant health. So what you do with these is you print them out Put them under your pillow at night, above your headboard, between your mattress, put one in your car, and just intend to infuse the intention of each of them. And they're mighty, mighty powerful. I've heard some wonderful feedback from folks who have used them. One gal says she's sleeping better. She's remembering her dreams now because of the particular ones that she put in between her mattress and box spring.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then
So
I'm
I
sorry.
say you have all that and you have more. You've got some bonuses in here, and
Yeah.
it's science of physiology and intuition. Tell us more. Keep going, please.
Yeah. So the science and physiology of intuition, they included this one, and I loved including this one because so many of us don't, we hear that we're intuitive, but do we really know that we're intuitive? How do we trust what we're hearing? I had somebody ask me the other day, do you think I'm crazy? It's like, no, you're waking up. This is your intuition. So this one is all about not just the science of how intuition works, but proof that our physiology supports our intuition, our pineal gland, our higher heart, our gut. These are all our tools that we were born with to promote and use our intuition. And then the final, included in the final one, is also an ebook that I thought would be quite helpful and fun. Synchronicity, the secret language of the soul. I think what synchronicity is, kind of magical things happening in our daily life. So that's included just as a bonus.
I love it. I have a new definition for synchronicity that came up for me personally. And I like it because it's fun. It's my future self leaving breadcrumbs along the way so that I can remember I'm on the right path, right? So it's just right. It's just synchronicity. It makes sense to me, but there's so much to it. There's so much in the divine guidance and the signs that we come across that it's, again, all that intuitive prowess, the playing big that we can do. That tells us, look where you are, look what's coming along, you're paying attention, look at the magic that's unfolding. So it's so beautiful. In the 12 pillars also, you talk about something that is very profound for me lately, and it's been coming up so strongly again over the last 3 to 4 months, now probably 6 months, is the resurrection part. We're rebirthing, we're dying and rebirthing. And we have to understand that. So even some of the emotions, even all of the emotions that come up and we have relationship with them, we're redefining, rebuilding anew what they mean for us, no longer bound by the constructs of which we experience them, but really getting an opportunity to retell a new story based on who we are now. Not the things that shaped us in the past that caused the amygdala to have the chemistry to say this is the way it has to be, because it doesn't have to anymore.
Right. And it's like a snake shedding its skin, right? It's renewed and no longer is overtaken by parasites of the dusty ground. We are shedding that right now and being renewed from the inside out if we allow, if we're courageous enough, right? Yeah. We just have to know the goal, what's on the other side of this, right? There's all this talk about ascension and uncovering our pain and working through our stuff and healing our bodies and eating healthy and doing all these things that we do, but we can't lose sight of what that goal is. What do we all want? We want to be free. We want to wake up to our love, which is mastery. Is love. Love is mastery. True, real love, the freedom from ourselves, and also involved in that, which is one of the pillars of 12 pillars of self-healing, John, is the disciplining of the ego. Now, I'm not talking about not listening to the inner child, because we want to love on ourselves and accept the AAL technique and the miracle working molecule for ourselves. But there's some times, and I'm really good at this, I can go into self-pity. If this were a school, I'd get an A plus. So one thing just lately the guides have shown me is that much like a parent just has to look at that child and the child knows that it straightens up, This is the point where we need to get to with our own egos, with our own
Yeah.
personalities, with those ruminating thoughts, with that stuff from the past, the things with our exes, the things with a mistake that we think that we made and we're blaming ourselves for. It's time to say, all right, enough is enough. Do I have to put you in timeout? Let the ego know that you're in control here. You're the master, you're the disciplinarian, and we're not going to put up with this anymore. So this is a huge step in our mastery also, because who is that disciplinarian? It is the master. It is our God self. It is the one that knows better. And the more we work with that, the more that's going to grow and the more control it's going to have over that little whiny voice that wants to feel sad or feel sorry for itself. And again, I'm not saying don't feel sad. We're human. We're still human. It's part of life. But there's so much more than we could control about ourselves. And I suggest
Beautiful. Well, without the sadness, sometimes we wouldn't know what real beauty is. So what a gift that is as well, right?
right.
If we can only see it that way sometimes. Y'all, this is an amazing package. Again, the modules, the pillars, the bonuses, the live calls, the attunement. There's so much available. Both packages together is only $179. Both packages. And there's a 2-payment option on the packages. I say go for that one and go deep. And we have a 30-day money-back guarantee always on Beyond the Ordinary show. So if it doesn't resonate for whatever reason, which I seriously doubt that'll be the case, just know if the mind's contemplating or ruminating or doesn't feel safe in making a decision, we've given you an automatic safety release right there. And so dive in. You're going to get so much from this. And again, to get to the special offer, April has typed it into the chat box. You can click on that or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Debrah25. Take you to that same special offer page. Debrah, this is amazing. I'm so excited for everybody who's going to participate in this. And again, it's so in alignment with so many different things that I've been experiencing over this last half year that it's just, I know what my journey has been during this time period and what's awakening and what I've had access to and what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to. And it's powerful. And you, it's like you've condensed it here and you put it through. Y'all, if you don't have to go what I've been through in the last 6 months, even though some of it was a lot of fun, some of it not so much fun, but that's okay also. But to be able to have this fast track into this consciousness because someone like Debrah has embodied it and can translate it now, what a gift for all of us and for the people in your lives to be able to have someone to emulate it from as well. So again, take advantage of the special offer. The link is in the chat box. And Deb, if you're ready, I'd love to take some more calls before we get into our process here in a little bit. Are you open to some more calls?
Sure, I would love that.
All right, let's go for it. Let me see. Who am I calling on now? Adele, welcome to the call. If you can unmute yourself and turn on your video, that'd be wonderful.
Thank you.
Hi, Adele.
That is so cool. I was just saying, okay, that'd be good. Call on me. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I just love you, Deborah. You have beautiful energy. I just feel your energy embracing me. And God love you, honey. You're really wonderful.
So, love, what's a question for Debrah? Yeah.
Here's the question, honey. How am I physically, number one? I'm pretty good, right? I mean, I have glitches, but they don't bother me.
You have what that doesn't bother you?
Little glitches, you know, I have a few, I have asthma and IBS and stuff, but when have a home of my own, I will be well again. I get, stress causes things that we wish it wouldn't.
What's your real question?
My question is, how am I physically and mentally, and am I going to get back on my feet financially? The mind and the body is going to support me doing that. And if not, what is it that's blocking me so I can delete it?
Well, the financial piece that very well may be covered in the ancestral healing that we're going to do, because a lot of this isn't just ours, right? But as far as your physicality goes, they're saying that you could drink more water. Your body needs to
Thank you. I think I drink a lot, but I guess I don't.
No. And your body's a little acidic, so go more towards the alkaline foods rather than the acidic, right?
Okay, okay, for sure.
And part of that, and this is for anybody as well, you want to go more alkaline, drinking fresh squeezed lemon in water, warm or cold, and apple cider vinegar is wonderful for you. So those are some things that, Adele, that should give you a little bit of a boost. More water and going more away from the acidic.
Would will my IBS support? I drink fresh squeezed orange juice with lemon. It doesn't bother me, but lemon water and apple cider, I sort of quit when the IBS kicked up again. I quit doing that, but and that's been a while. But will I be able to take that, honey? Will my body take it?
Start with small doses. Okay, so start with, introduce it small and little by little. Don't drink a whole glass.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Because it's actually going to be very, very good for you.
Yeah, I used to do it and it was terrific.
Okay, good.
Okay, how's the mind, honey?
And with that one, I'm gonna move on to the next caller after the mind part. Thank you, Adele.
Thank you, honey.
So Deborah, how's her mind?
Oh, I thought you were moving on. I'm sorry. How's
No, she asked. We're not going to leave her hanging.
Okay.
I can tell her mind's awesome and sharp as can be, but that's just obvious.
Yeah. So you worry a little bit. So other than that, you feel quite sharp and on track. What do you think? The worry, we're much more powerful than we think, and that much more powerful than what we know. So if you tell yourself things like, I am sharp as a tack, and I'm always, make some little affirmations for yourself to be playful, because you're the one in control of that, right? So no fear about losing capacities, right? So at this point, I don't see any issues.
Wonderful. All right, hon. Thank you so much for calling in. All right, let's move on to our next caller. And let's try to keep the question to one so we can try to get to as many callers as possible. And I love you guys, but I want to open this up for as many as we can, because we still have to go through the ancestral healing. Let's see. Let's call in Nikki. Nikki, welcome to the call. If you will unmute and turn your video.
Okay. Hi, John. Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
There we go. Anyway, Deborah, I had a session with you recently. Hello. And it was very good. My question is specifically sinus problems with seasonal allergies and molds, and it's really bad. And I'd like to know what's at the bottom, the emotions that are at the bottom of all this.
A part of it is an irritation. There's something or someone, maybe even yourself in your life, that's an irritant.
Okay.
But the other piece of it is, and I'm so glad we're going to do this ancestral healing, because that's the other piece of it. You're carrying some things that were not exactly your own. So stay tuned for the ancestral healing, because we're going to be able to clear some of that for you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, there are always irritants in life, right? And I can't pinpoint. I don't know.
Someone close to you.
Okay.
There's someone close to you that maybe you're being rubbed the wrong way by them?
Well, just everybody has their own set of irritants that come with them. I mean, I hate to sound so cynical, but I really can't pinpoint. I mean,
can I give you an exercise to do?
Yes, please.
Do intuitive journaling. So when you wake up in the mornings, grab a piece of paper and just write front and back, 3 pieces of paper, and just whatever comes to mind, and ask for information to come through and see what comes through for you. So you're in your I don't know, which is I'm too tired to think of what that might be. Or I've got so many other things that I don't have the time to try to figure it out. But if you allow your mind to just flow and allow the body to unload and to release and just to share its wisdom with you, perhaps more will be illuminated beyond I don't know, because I believe that I don't know is also an irritant in your field.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck with that one. Not good
I'll
luck
try
with
it.
it. I think it'll be powerful for you.
Yeah, I look forward to the ancestral healing too.
And let's take I don't know out of your vocabulary.
Ah,
How about
all
I don't
right.
know yet? How about I don't know yet?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Or if I
But you
did
will.
know, what would it be?
Ah, there you
Could
go.
it- okay, could it be more than one thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Okay.
Because you're not disempowered, honey. I
So
just said
it-
honey out loud, but you're not disempowered.
So I don't think this is a big ordeal going on in my body. It's just irritants, and yeah, no,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
So good. We have to go to ancestral healing. We just have to, let's just do it now. Deborah, do you mind?
Not at all.
Let's do it.
Fun.
So before we get into it, I want to remind everybody of the special offer. The link is in the chat box. April, I'm sure, is typing it in as we speak. You can find it there or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Debrah25. And we're going to be running this call for the rest of the weekend. And I'm sure we'll have it on replays also here in a few weeks because it's such a great call. I want to run it again. So know that you're going to be able to come back, listen, partake in the energy, and remember, reignite, go back into it. So all that's there for you. And with that, Deb, if you're ready, I'm ready.
All right.
As you guide us through this.
All right. So first of all, everyone know that this is for you. This time is all about you. Just relax into that. And the other thing that the guides stress is that if we believe, as we do, in reincarnation, the fact that we come back again and again, and if we also believe that we return to the same soul family over and over again, that makes you one of your own ancestors, right? So in this healing that we're doing, we're not only working with the ancestors, but also you, right? So whenever this is going to cover anything that maybe, let's just say anything known or unknown to us, that may be an influence within your psyche, within your body, within your programming, anything known or unknown to us, we're going to call forth. Usually the biggies that we see are oppression, depression, poverty, famine, abuse, feeling less than, no sense of self, being deflated. Those are some of the biggies, but you can intend whatever you want. And so what I usually see is this long line. It can either be from the father's side, the mother's side, sometimes both. But I'll see this long, long line because I asked to go all the way back to the origin, cause, and effect of this malady, right? So I'll see this long line and we'll just gather them all forward. So we're doing that right now. And we're calling them all forward and they come into a big group, into a semicircle. All of the ancestors, including you, all their energy, their souls, their feeling downtrodden, feeling lost. There's been a lot of loss, definitely a lot of loss here. Many lifetimes in foreign countries. Yes, good, good, good. So as all of these ancestors come forward, they're surrounded. Another semicircle forms behind them with these pure white angels, these big, beautiful wings. And they stand behind this crowd, including you, creating a sacred place, creating safety. And then in front of the crowd is the divine, and its hands are upheld like this. And out of the palms of the hands not only of the divine, but these beautiful ascended masters, other angels, the Magdalene, Mother Mary, Great White Brotherhood, they're all here. Ooh, somebody is connected to St. Patrick. St. Patrick just showed up. Beautiful. And these beautiful beings of light are holding up their hands, infusing into the crowd their healing energies, their blessings, their compassion. And what the divine says to this crowd, to you, is what occurred in the past doesn't equal the present or the future. And in this moment, there's safety here. When I gaze upon you, all I see is your innocence and your purity. You've done nothing wrong. I see everything that there's nothing that's unknown to me. There's nothing that goes unheard. And in this moment, there's safety, there's healing, there's love, and all of that energy that these beings of light are infusing into the crowd lifts. I feel all that energy is lifting oppression, depression, abuse, feeling small, feeling less than, poverty, famine, loss, grief, all of that just being lifted, lost hope. Just being lifted. Take a deep breath. Just let it go. It's all okay. We got this. And then the beautiful angels that stand behind your ancestors are lifting them and taking them to a beautiful place. Lifted. And so congratulations, for in this moment, you not only cleared anything known or unknown by us of this, your ancestors, but also yourself and your future generations, the future you. Okay, beautiful. So now they want to close with doing a beautiful infinity sign over all of you. An infinity sign, they're saying, is a beautiful sacred geometric form, and they say it does things so deep that they don't even, they don't tell me. They just say no, that it seals in the beauty, the love, the gifts that were given today. That's always going horizontally, but then also vertically over each one of you as a final blessing from these beings of light that were here today with all of their love and healing and blessings for you. So congratulations. Good job.
Good job to all of us. Oh my God, Deborah, thank you so much for leading us through it. I can feel that. And then infinity, I can feel how profound that is. Just the ripples and the depth is amazing. Such a great call today. Oh my God, thank you. Once become available to all of us. Yeah. For everyone on the call, we didn't get through. I mean, so many of y'all had your hand raised. We're gonna have Deb on for just a Q&A eventually here. But for right now, this conversation and what's being invoked and transmitted and ignited within is so strong. So strong. And whoever just unmuted themselves, I'm about to mute you just because. Let me see who that is. Let's me mute you. And let me mute you so we can finish here with Deb. Deb, there you are. And Deb, again, I want to thank you for the way in which you bring in the consciousness of what's available to all of us in the way that we heal, and for being brave enough to stand in your bigness, going beyond the smallness and demonstrating to all of us what's possible when we do that, not for the sake of the ego of being seen, but really for the sake of the integrity of our heart and soul. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. This is always such an honor for me to be here with your audience and with you, with April. Can't forget April.
No, no.
To be in service is so humbling. I wake up in awe every day of what I get to do. You know, because sometimes I just feel like me. It's like I just wake up as Deb every day, but look what I get to do.
Yeah.
And it's an honor. So thank you again for the opportunity to be of service.
Well, it's a gift to all of us. Thank you. And thank you, everyone on the call, listening live, listening on the replay. I love you guys. I bow to each and every one of you, and namaste. And I look forward to seeing you on the next call. See you soon.